The infographic I created is called Women in Science and Engineering Majors at the University of Idaho. It depicts data of women versus men enrolled in specific majors on campus. I chose this topic for the infographic to bring awareness to the fact of the overall enrollment of students and then science and engineering majors for females and males. To begin, we're going to look at the layout. So I decided to do a vertical graphic going down with 4 main points, which is total enrollment, science majors, engineering majors, and then retention rate. Each subtopic is divided with a line. There's minimal use of text to kind of let the visual elements tell the story. There's more just like a simple explanation of what it is, and then the visual elements themselves explain what is happening. And they were really easy to choose, such as the male and female icons, the test tubes for science, and light bulbs for engineering. And each of the icons differ in size. They are in proportion to the number of students. So for example, the female is slightly smaller to the male. For science, you can tell the test tube is a little smaller than the male's. And for engineering, there's definitely a big difference in the size of the light bulbs. So to add a perspective, I chose to include the retention rates, and this will show how many students return for a second year. In comparison to the small numbers for S&E of females, the women that return to campus is fairly similar to the male that returned to campus for a second year. For the colors, I decided to keep the Vandal theme to University of Idaho, so I chose to go with gold and all the colors that seem to complement it. I chose gray because it's neutral, and it would give a negative contrast to the visual elements so that the gold sort of stands out. I felt that the colors complemented each other pretty well, and there's nothing that's clashing or that's too bright in comparison to the text. The font that I chose is simple yet formal, and it creates a nice contrast between the shadings of the different text here, as well as the headings and subheadings. It's similar and smaller, but they still all look uniform. The icons are the dominant focal point, which leads to the numbers being red. So you automatically look at the graphic, which takes your eyes to the sub-focal point, which is the number. So here, the males enrolled in science, you look at the test tube, which is pretty big, and there's 544 students. Or for engineering, this light bulb is really big in comparison to this one, so you look at the numbers, which is 1,502 and 308. Using similar fonts and text sizes, as well as a simple yet formal color design, will allow for a presentable infographic such as the one I have created here.